and welcome to this week's episode of Branding with Jade TV. And in this episode, I want to talk to you about influencer marketing and, more importantly, how to actually become an influencer, get paid to post, and score loads of freebies. So the reason I wanted to cover this topic is because when I polled my audience, this is what a lot of you said you wanted to learn from me. And it does actually tie in with personal branding as well, because I truly believe that the reason I've been able to be successful as an influencer is because of my powerful personal brand. So that's the angle I'll be primarily teaching from, because I always do want to relate back to my main goal, which is teaching you about personal branding. But influencer marketing is something where personal branding is really important. And so because a lot of you want to learn that, and because I've had a lot of success as an influencer, I wanted to teach you that as well. So what I wanted to share with you today is my 8 steps for becoming an influencer, and basically just share some light on what it actually is in case you aren't familiar with influencer marketing, and tell you why it's beneficial to businesses and brands, and why, if you wanted to consider being an influencer, why it is a really good path to go down. So basically, influencer marketing is when a brand will either pay you or provide you with free products in exchange for content that you create for them. So it's a really affordable way for brands to get content created for them of a high quality and reach other audiences without actually having to pay for advertising or celebrity endorsements or all of that kind of stuff. And the reason it works so well is because brands can then reach different audiences that they may not necessarily have reached before, because they're relying on influencers to spread the word and get their name out there to a new audience. Now, the way it works is the brand will generally work with influencers that fit within their niche and create the same kind of content that fits with the message that they want to put out there. And so they will reach out to influencers that have a certain kind of following, demographic, and all of that kind of stuff. And then they will work with you and come to some kind of an agreement of what they expect from you and what they're going to give you in return. So that's a really brief overview of what influencer marketing is, and the reason why it is becoming more and more popular is because it is affordable for brands, because there's lots of influencers out there and they can really handpick the ones that are going to be right for them to work with. It's a lot cheaper than working with celebrities, and celebrities may be a big name and a big following, but they don't have that loyal audience that micro influencers have, because micro influencers have a smaller, much more engaged audience of people that really know, like, and trust them. So when they endorse something for a brand, their word is taken much more solidly, and therefore they can actually have much more of an impact than celebrities. And then of course it works better for brands than just, say, advertising on TV or billboards and all of that kind of old school style of marketing, because by going to an influencer, they can actually connect directly with the right audience rather than just putting it out there for everyone to see. They get in touch with the right audience. So it's actually a really good way that brands are marketing and getting a lot more return on investment by working with influencers. So what I wanted to go through now quickly is my 8 steps for how to actually become an influencer and start getting paid to post and receiving free products. So the first thing you want to do is you really want to define your niche, because as I said, brands generally want to work with someone that fits within their niche, has the right kind of audience, and really is aligned with what they promote. So if you're just starting out and you're trying to work with brands, it's really important to get specific on what your niche actually is, because that makes it a lot easier for you to reach out to brands that are all aligned with what your message is. As you go on and get more confident and start to build more of a following and have more of a loyal supporting, then it's easier to branch out and do a wider range of content. But when you start out, it's really important to niche down and have a specific area that you focus on, because this really helps the right kind of brands to connect with you. And then that leads into building a powerful personal brand of your own, because brands want to work with someone that is well established, has a really good name for themselves, has a loyal following, and really is aligned in their messages, vision, values, and goals. So the more powerful your brand is, the easier it is for other brands to recognize whether or not you're a good fit for them. So that's why it's really important to focus on building a powerful personal brand if you want to succeed as an influencer. And that's why I've been able to be so successful, because I have a really powerful personal brand, which is the Aussie Adventuress, and that is a very specific niche. It's travel, it's Australian based, and also worldwide because it is a travel brand. So then fit in with like food, like travel food and all of that kind of stuff, because I've built the brand up and it's now become more of a lifestyle based brand because I've been at it for so long. So more brands start to recognize me and want to work with me, and that's the point you can get to if you stick at it long enough. The next thing you want to focus on is getting your platforms in place. So choosing which platform you're actually going to use as your influencer platform. This is the same as when you decide what platform you want your brand to be on and all of that kind of stuff. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. You want to really master one particular area and show brands why you are a really good fit to work with them. So I focus primarily on Instagram and my blog, and my blog gets lots of views because of Pinterest, but Pinterest isn't something you actually tell brands about because it's not really a social media platform as such. It's more of a search engine. So when you're reaching out to brands, I tell them about my Instagram following and my blog reach, and that is where they see that they're going to get a really good return on investment if my audience suits them. So I generally only reach out to brands that I know are going to be the right fit for me. But when you're starting out, that's the kind of things that brands will look for. They'll look for who your audience is, what the age demographic is, what their interests are, what platform you're on, because if they want you to create, say, video content or something, then they may prefer you to be on YouTube. Although now with Instagram having IGTV and all the extra fancy bells and whistles, Instagram is really my favorite platform for influencer work, and it is really one of the biggest platforms for influencers. So it's the one I focus on the most. But it's just up to you which one you decide is going to be right for your brand and your niche and your audience and where they're going to follow you. And then as long as you're reaching out to the right kind of brands, then they're going to appreciate the platform you're on because it's going to be suited to them. The next thing you need to focus on is building a following, and this is why it's important to stick to 1 to 2 main platforms, because if you're trying to spread yourself too thin, then you're not going to be able to do the work to engage and grow that loyal following. Whereas if you're just focusing on one platform and really honing in and giving it your all, then you're going to build a really loyal and engaged following, and that's going to make you much more desirable for brands to want to work with you because they can see that your audience is loyal and really loves you. Rushing now because I'm noticing that I'm like getting close to 10 minutes. The next thing is content. So brands are going to ask you to create content. So they're obviously going to look at the type of content you've got out there. So if you've got grainy images, if you've got low quality photos, if your brand looks mismatched and out of place, then that's really not going to reflect in the right light when brands look at you. So you've really got to up your game, and sometimes it is worth hiring a professional just to make sure that everything looks right from the start. And then once you start getting those sponsorship deals and getting more confident, you'll get better at creating the content yourself, and you'll end up having more brands coming to you. But content is crucial because that's what you're going to be creating. So until you are creating high quality content, it's pretty unlikely that brands are going to want to pay you for your content. So this is a really good area to focus on and really make sure that you master. Then engagement I've covered, and then it just comes to connecting with brands and arranging collaborations. So once you've got that following in place, you've got your niche, you've got your audience, then it's really just comes down to actually putting yourself out there, reaching out to brands and telling them what you can do for them. It's not about what's in it for you, it's about the value that you can bring to them, and that's what's going to really make you stand out amongst other people and really make you the one that they want to work with. Now I'm conscious that I'm going over time, so I'm probably going to have to cover this in another week as well.